This molecule is retatrutide. Clinically, it is classified as a next-generation triple hormone receptor agonist. Monoincretin therapies rely primarily on caloric restriction to drive weight loss. When the body detects a sustained deficit, it often compensates by lowering the basal metabolic rate, which creates a significant challenge for long-term weight maintenance. To understand how this new molecule addresses that limitation, we have to map the specific, synchronized pathways it activates and deconstruct the clinical data producing these results. By engaging 3 simultaneous targets, this compound shifts the focus from simple caloric restriction to active, compound-driven energy expenditure. In a sluggish, insulin-resistant state, standard incretin function struggles to maintain proper energy balance. The receptors responsible for signaling satiety and clearing glucose operate poorly. Traditional treatments elevate 2 primary hormones to correct this: GLP-1, which dampens hunger signals in the brain, and GIP, which improves how effectively the body regulates circulating insulin. Retatrutide introduces a third mechanism directly into its chemical structure, a glucagon receptor agonist. Glucagon is inherently catabolic. The addition of this third pathway transforms the metabolic response from a simple additive effect into a synchronized acceleration of systemic lipid turnover. The mechanical advantage happens entirely below the surface, deep within the physiological space where the drug initiates multiple signaling pathways at once. First, the GLP-1 pathway slows gastric emptying and modulates hunger signals at the hypothalamic level, reducing the drive to consume excess calories. Second, the GIP pathway regulates the resulting glucose load, driving up peripheral insulin sensitivity so the body processes carbohydrates efficiently instead of storing them. Finally, the glucagon pathway activates. This third receptor is the primary catalyst for metabolic acceleration. Upon glucagon receptor agonism, a CAMP and PKA signaling cascade triggers inside the adipocyte. This activates hormone-sensitive lipase, initiating lipid hydrolysis by cleaving stored triglycerides. Finally, these broken-down free fatty acids are actively released from the cell membrane into circulation. This mechanical sequence forces the body into active lipid oxidation, a process that occurs independently of the patient's daily caloric intake. To test the limits of this tripartite mechanism, clinical trials evaluated patient demographics struggling with severe treatment-resistant obesity and metabolic dysfunction. This line graph maps total body weight reduction. Participants experienced sustained depletion exceeding 20%, outpacing older baselines. Data also showed disproportionate depletion specifically within deep visceral adipose tissue, the storage site most directly linked to metabolic disease. Concurrent with the fat depletion, patients demonstrated rapid stabilization across systemic metabolic markers, logging faster glucose clearing and normalized insulin response times. Achieving a 20% weight reduction alongside systemic marker correction provides an efficacy level previously associated only with bariatric surgery. Beneath the organ level, inside the cellular powerhouses themselves, the energetic reactions are intense. The drug triggers an upregulation of mitochondrial networks, increasing both the density and activity of these energy centers across the body's entire cellular structure. This diagram illustrates beta oxidation. Mobilized fatty acids enter the mitochondria and are physically converted into usable ATP energy units. The synergistic hormone activation also triggers mitochondrial uncoupling. This process effectively burns off excess cellular energy as heat, directly driving up the patient's basal metabolic rate. This systemic clearance mechanism actively reduces ectopic fat deposits, pulling triglycerides out of organs like the liver, resulting in rapid improvements in fatty liver markers. These cellular-level adaptations indicate the molecule functions as a comprehensive whole-body metabolic regulator. Rapidly altering multiple hormonal signaling pathways creates a period of physiological adaptation, often manifesting as systemic disruption during the dose escalation phase. As the body adjusts to the altered signaling, patients frequently experience nausea, gastrointestinal distress, and physical fatigue. There is also a secondary risk. The suppression of hypothalamic signals reduces not just hunger, but the drive to consume fluids, which can lead to severe dehydration. Driving a system into extreme catabolism also carries the potential for lean muscle tissue degradation alongside the fat reduction. Harnessing such a potent intervention requires rigorous clinical monitoring and specific protocols to preserve protein levels and muscle mass. The clinical use case for this compound targets individuals exhibiting severe obesity, accompanied by metabolic and insulin resistance. It operates as an advanced intervention for patients who do not respond adequately to standard GLP-1 treatment protocols. This split-screen pathway model illustrates the shift in mechanism. First-generation approaches, like semaglutide, relied on a single active node. The dual agonist approach added insulin regulation, lacking direct fat oxidation. The triple agonist model shows all three receptors operating simultaneously, maximizing systemic output. The integration of this third glucagon node provides the mechanical driver required to increase energy expenditure beyond what is possible through caloric restriction alone. The goal of this therapy is a stabilized, highly active, and balanced internal physiological environment. By synchronizing coordination across both metabolic and neurological systems, the compound forces the body to burn its own reserves while reducing intake. In combining appetite suppression, insulin regulation, and direct lipid oxidation,